But generally loggerhead, and this was a loggerhead nest, and we knew that from the day it was laid.
You can see a hole in it.
And by the tracks.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are down here at Perdido Key on the east side. If you've been following my channel, you know this is the side I patrol for my turtle nests, for the turtle nests. And we did have a nest down here, and it hatched on Sunday, which is super cool. It hatched about 1 o'clock, midnight 1 o'clock. So we are down here today and we're going to assess it. So that means we're going to dig up the eggs and see how many hatched, how many were underdeveloped, and unfortunately how many might have died in the nest. Please don't do this at home. This is for professionals and research only. Let's go assess this nest. Let's go, come on.
Apparently it's going to rain.
Oh, the beach has changed so much since I wasn't here last week.
Yeah. I am not going to do a lot of talking because of the weather. I don't know if we're going to get this complete or not. It's still not on us, but...
Yeah, I think we'll probably at least have another 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, but I've got lightning alerts, so I will use my hands until I find turtles or eggs, and then I'll switch over to gloves. So when you go into a nest, you go in with the side of your hand. Good, how are you? Just in case there's anything live down here. So you don't want to ever go in with your fingers.
Yeah.
You want to go in with the side, and you want to go in and eventually widen the collapse.
Now, did you know where to start? Because there was like a hole over here.
Yes, because this was the hatch. When we got here Sunday morning, all the tracks were coming out of this, going this way and that way, and then north. So here's something right. That's a shell. That's a shell.
Different shell, not a turtle shell.
Yeah. The sand down here is softer than it is out here because this is where they came up. So there was air in here. So now the sand has fallen down in it, but this is always softer sand than what it's going to be at the bottom and what it's going to be over in this area. And this is still fairly wet too.
Yeah. Well, it did have a lot of water on top of it.
How many emerged though? 50?
I have no idea.
Oh, we don't know. Okay.
No. I know there were a lot of tracks, but I really have no idea. And that's what this is for, is to determine. I could tell that about 30 some odd went south or went southwest, eventually hitting the water.
Yeah.
The ones that went east turned and were going towards the lights. So
none were found up in the grass area?
But I did. So over the 2 days, Sunday morning and then again Sunday night, and not yesterday, but Sunday, I traced tracks through the dunes, following the lights of the parking garages at both Vista and Land's End. So, and it wasn't a lot, but it was enough that you really want to, we can do better with lights, let's put it that way.
Interesting.
So we're about 12 inches down, and I don't have any hatchlings. I think this was a full hatch, but I don't know until I find eggs.
Really green water.
And the sand is soft here.
And you won't widen until you find something?
So this is about as wide as I need to get right now. But I don't ever want my body weight to fall in on the clutch. Okay, so I just got the whiff. There's a turtle whiff. It's unmistakably turtles, meaning eggs and anything else. So here I am, I just got an egg. It's time for gloves. I haven't uncovered it yet, but my finger touched it, so. And the seaweed ever did.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that. I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, so with body weight, you never want to collapse the hole in on itself.
Yeah.
And we're down better than 12 inches. We're close to 15 inches, and we're just hitting the top of the eggs. So this was a nice deep nest, but you use one finger, and you just start working them out like an archaeologist. Because you want to maintain whatever is in there. If I have whole eggs, I want them whole. If I have pipped eggs with a hatchling either in or out, I want it. So this is the harder part. The digging, not so much if you know where it collapsed or where the turtles emerged, but it's getting everything out. And then we'll start sorting after everything's out. Because I don't want to lose anything. Because if it gets ugly, they're all going in my bucket. And that's the other reason why we have a bucket of sand. If there's a weather situation, if they're hatchlings, I want them in that bucket until I can safely release them.
Oh, okay.
Which is under cover of darkness. But they're also part of the count. Listening and listening and listening Saturday night, and a good portion of y'all were out here. And we kept hearing, but we never saw a thing. Nothing that looked like it was going to hatch. You hear turtle sounds. So when I try to describe it,
Turtle sound.
turtle sound. So yes, it's sand, but it's turtles digging up through the sand and the sand falling down. And when I say that to my boss, he's like, I don't know what you mean by falling water, by falling sand. It's either a turtle sound or it's a crab sound. And I'm like, okay. So
are those eggs that never hatch?
no, these are
those
eggs
are
that did hatch.
They've already dug out?
Yeah, this is all what came out the other night.
Wow.
They had to dig up a long way.
They do. But when all of them come out like that hatch, like the tracks indicated, they're all climbing on each other's bodies. So, but you can start to see where the eggs are.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now those darker ones, is that?
Sometimes it's bacteria. It could be a hatchling. I haven't gotten that far yet.
How many eggs are usually in them?
So usually over 100, sometimes less, sometimes more.
Oh, wow.
So that's bacteria, but that's a whole egg. That's an unhatched egg. Right, that didn't hatch. And unfortunately, I have to open it up and see what it looks like, but we don't do that until I have everything. So here's where the bulk of the eggs are. I'm not just getting loose sand right now. I got a lot of broken in there, but they're very compacted.
Is that good or bad?
It's the way it is. I can't say it's good or bad.
So still haven't incubated?
Well, no, some of these are hatched, but I just have to do a lot of digging, a lot of careful digging to get it out.
For the most part, after a hatch, we'll do about 3 days later, we'll do the excavation. And at that point, there may be a live hatchling in the nest, but at that point, like, we'll still assess whole eggs because it's not like, oh, if they need another week or two, then they'll hatch. At that point, they're either they've stopped developing or they're not fertilized.
So the temperature determines the sex of the turtle?
Absolutely.
And which way is it? The
So
hotter-
hotter is females and cooler is males.
That's easy to remember.
It also depends on depth. It depends on washovers.
Whole one?
Yep. So it looks like there's a couple whole ones so far.
Okay. If it was a nest that had not hatched, we would be digging generally behind the sign.
Sometimes it's hard to tell where she...
It absolutely is. But yeah, sometimes that crawl is hard to judge. You think you've got it?
Yeah.
Nope. And with us not being able to locate a clutch the day it's laid, we're just guessing. And we're hoping that it hatches so that we have an easier job of it. So the eggs are the size of ping pong balls. There may be one or two in here larger or smaller. But generally loggerhead, and this was a loggerhead nest, and we knew that from the day it was laid. They're the most common turtle that we have on the Gulf Coast. That leatherback hatching that was over on Pensacola Beach, that was the first successful leatherback hatch in this area in 22 years. Wow. So that hatch, the leatherback hatch, amazing. So I'm at the bottom. So, and it's nice hard sand again. I don't have anything dead in here and anything alive. I have a couple, we'll find out the exact number in a minute, but it looks like a pretty good hatch. So
they're all on top of each other right there, and that's that circle.
mm-hmm. Yep, this is what we call her clutch. This is her egg chamber. So now we'll start sorting.
Looking for?
So a pipped egg means basically that the turtle, either live or dead, is still inside the egg.
Yes.
Whereas like that egg was opened and like I can see the yolk in there. I can't tell yet if there was like development or not.
So they're not hard like chicken eggs.
Like chickens and whales have a little beak that they crack the shell.
So do turtles. Turtles have an egg tooth, and that's how they rip these shells.
Okay. Does it stay with them or does it?
It eventually flattens out and becomes part of their beak. So, what do you got, Jenny?
27.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 97.
And some change.
97 hatched and 4 unhatched.
101.
That's 101. That's a pretty darn good nest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 97 and 4. Okay.
Come under the rope. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. So then everything goes back in the hole.
Oh, interesting.
And I cover it back up, but I am going to open eggs. And if you're squeamish, then you don't want to be here, okay? This is the part that we all go, do I really have to do this? Because we have to determine whether there was development. And if there is development and there's a live hatchling, it is not going to survive, okay?
So you do put them all back and then cover them?
I do.
Is that for next year?
It's because it helps re-nourish the dunes. It's all part of the natural process. Again, everything about a turtle is endangered and they're federally protected, so no turtle, anything can be had by anybody. I mean, even for us, we have to have a special permit to have samples, to have heads for education purpose, everything. So everything goes right back where it came from. So more than likely this was a true hatch, but they did not get the yolk out of it. The yolk separated as they were coming out, but they use that yolk for energy. That's what in hatched egg pile. So I would let you guys see these closer, but gloves are necessary. So eggs look like that. They're not chicken eggs. They're not hard, but that's a hatched egg. Yeah, and when they're first laid, they are bright white. They are bright white. So we open in the hole because they squirt. So who's squeamish? If you're squeamish, please go. Okay, so here's the scientific part, and it's the sad part, and I'll say my little prayer. So, no, that's a yoga prayer. So, this is the yolk that they use for their energy to swim, because they're trying to get out to the sargassum. So this is a very late stage development, and he's curled up around that yolk sac. And for whatever reason, he didn't live. But Loka samastasuki no babantu. I hate opening them. I just hate opening them, but I have to. So here's one that probably has development in it, but not as late as that one. It stopped developing. I don't see development. I see, oh yes I do. So that's early stage. That's like early stage development. That blood spot. So that's 2 with development. So I only have So this is another very early stage. There's the beginnings of its head. You can see the eyes in the beginning of its head. So that's early stage. For whatever reason, development stopped. Oh, I can feel it in here.
Visited the Galveston.
So this one stopped for some reason as well, and it's already started to decompose. So
Was that the one you said you thought might have bacteria?
it was rather dark, yes. So
Oh, I didn't get one yet. We're almost done here.
so that was 4 whole and 3 head development. 3 head development.